Now you're going to get to hear from the gentleman who's been behind the curtain. I think that can do a Disney reference or one of those movie references where he's making all these things happening. He's communicating with the sales side. He's communicating with the operations side. He's communicating with the tech team. He's carrying a lot of heavy burden, finally getting the ability to expand his team because of all the great success that he has seen. I'm going to bring to the stage, I don't even remember your title anymore, Sam. We work so closely together, but Mr. Sam Peterson, who has been doing phenomenal things for the Powur platform.
Thanks, Charles. Oh man, this has been a long time coming. Very excited to be here and excited to announce that we are moving to the next milestone, if you will, for Enterprise. The beauty of this platform, as I'm sure you've heard over the last few minutes, is this opportunity is not one size fits all. The opportunity is very much like solar for a homeowner. There are different ways to take advantage of what we've been building. There are different pieces of the program, different avenues to take. And so I want to start by mentioning that the features I'm presenting today, some of them may be familiar. There are variations to existing features that I'll be introducing. But the beauty of all of these is that they're built from a very flexible perspective. And by that I mean we are building this platform to accommodate all different organization types. Charles mentioned earlier, this opportunity extends beyond just the solar space. Mortgage companies, lead generation companies, real estate companies. And with that, we can't assume anything about how one org is operating or how one org's compensation plan works. So all of these features are built for all org types, and they will continue to be built with that in mind so that we can give you the chance to plug in and succeed on the platform. Enterprise certification is where we start. There is a lot going on in the platform, and we need to make sure that you know how to use it. Most solar sales orgs rather, are coming onto the platform, and they know a thing or two about solar. So we take the approach with this certification course to say we want you to understand the platform first and foremost. You will notice that there are two unique learning paths. One for owners that will give you insight in how to use the features and the settings that are available for owners to set for the org. The other learning path is for seated users, sellers, staff roles. Again, this is designed to make sure that you can join the platform and you can understand how to maneuver and how to succeed. For those that are familiar with the current certification course and the Tier 1 and Tier 2 achievements, by completing enterprise certification as a seller or with seller capabilities, you are achieving both Tier 1 and Tier 2. So there will not be a mentor requirement. And that is, again, to assume that most of the organizations that we're approving for this program have been there and done that to some capacity. One thing to note, too, is that owners can still set a mentor or Tier 3 requirement for sellers. So though you may have completed certification, your owner or your manager may have decided that they want you to work with someone on a few projects before you're off to the races on your own. Lastly, for certification, you unlock additional training by completing enterprise certification. Those training and those courses, things like roofing, vision, those will unlock and give you access to virtually all of the Powur products and tools and resources that we offer. As you get started, once enterprise certification is complete, an owner has the ability to invite team members. An owner can invite both seated users and standard users. Standard users having the ability to just be a standard independent seller or a Powur Pro, or they can also apply to become an enterprise. The seated users, they can choose between all of the staff roles that you see here, manager, support, and lead generator. They can be a seated seller, or they can just hold a staff role alone. This user invite drawer here is something new. It actually, it's available for all user types. If there's a pending invite that you've sent out, you can jump into the invite drawer on your page, on your team page, and you can make adjustments to the profile. You can make adjustments to the nature of a seated user's role settings. And you'll notice at the bottom here, you can also save changes, send a new invite, or delete the invite altogether, which would remove the email from the system. The beauty here is there's tends to be some confusion around where does my invite stand? Has this person received the invite? So prior to recently, you could only resend the invite. Now you have the ability to delete it altogether. Perhaps the email was incorrect, but it gives you a chance to start over and refresh. Enterprise settings dashboard. This is where it gets exciting. In today's enterprise platform, there's one enterprise tab for settings, and it's all the settings that you have access to in one place. What we've done here is we've broken this out into a dashboard view so that you can jump into any of these pages and have a dedicated experience to the problem that you're trying to solve or the changes that you're trying to make within your organization. You have compensation, co-branding, preferred partners, user permissions, and vision proposals. A lot of what you see here exists today on the platform. But there are a few exciting changes, vision being one of them. Co-branding. This is a vision setting. You'll notice in this visual here, the organization name and the organization logo, if you're familiar with Enterprise, you're able to add this information today. But the additional feature here is vision proposal co-branding. Caveat, this is only available for vision. We will not be co-branding solo proposals, but if you are an enterprise organization and enterprise only, you can upload your logo, your organization name, and turn on that toggle to see your logo appear on your team's proposals. This will apply to all of your projects within your org. Compensation settings. So there's some new stuff here as well, some new stuff coming. A lot of this will look familiar if you are an enterprise user. Set default compensation settings for all new enterprise users. These are the defaults that your org or your new users would see in their user drawer. They wouldn't see these settings, but you would see them in the user drawer. From there, you can also go into the user drawer and assign unique settings for each of these users. With that, you can assign project compensation terms for each seller, set unique pay terms for your lead generator roles, and control the finance rebate distributions. For those that are not familiar with the finance rebate, it's 1.5% of the loan volume or the loan amount on projects that make it to install. As an org owner, you can decide whether or not you want to share 50 or 75% or 100% for your organization users that are selling projects. User permissions. Seated user lead offer. When a org owner or a manager sends a lead offer to a seated seller or a manager seller within the organization, this setting here allows an owner to make sure that the user is automatically accepted the lead, meaning there would not be a review process. They would not get to decide whether or not the terms were favorable. It's the org owner knowing what is best for the seller and knowing that they need to attack that lead because they're the best person for it. The seated user recruiting toggle here, this gives an org owner the ability to give sellers the ability to recruit other people to the organization or to the broader team. They can recruit seated users, but the org owner will need to go into their invite page to accept those user invites. And I'll show you more on an upcoming slide here. The seated seller tier 3 requirement, this is a default setting that you would notice in all of your sellers' user drawers right off the bat. The seated seller tier 3 requirement is to say that a mentor is required on a seated seller's projects up to the number that is assigned in this setting. An owner can also change this for each individual user in the user drawer. Preferred partners. This exists today on the platform, and when you jump into this preferred partner section, you'll notice that you have two options: installation partner and roofing partner. Installation partners, this is where you assign or request, rather, a installation partner that you would like all of your org projects to be assigned to when an org project is submitted. This assignment is not automatic. It will be based on capacity within that region, or if that project that you have submitted is not within the preferred installer's range, we will need to assign it elsewhere. You can do the same for roofing. This is an extremely impactful feature, and an iteration we're working on is a territory-specific preferred partner. So in the future, we'd like for you to be able to choose a preferred partner in North Carolina as well as South Carolina, from state to state. Vision proposal settings. This is what we call an MVP, a minimum value product as we continue to develop the feature. For vision proposals, an org owner will have some new options for the org. Minimum margin, for one. This would be the minimum dollar amount that a seller can price a vision proposal, the minimum price per watt, rather. There's also a fixed margin per watt that you can assign to your projects. This would be a setting that does not allow the seller to adjust the margin in any way. The margin is locked. The seller margin visibility settings, the full pricing breakdown, this is what you'd see on Solo today. In Solo today, you see the full breakdown of cost of goods, and you see the total margin broken out separately. And base cost, if you choose base cost, this would combine all of the cost of goods, the core service project adders, or the cost rather. It would combine them all into one, and you would also see the margin included in that single line item. So for base cost, you'll see 4 potential line items. You will see the base cost, which is margin, cost of goods, and then you will see adders and the dealer fee, if applicable. Project portfolio visibility. As an owner, as a manager, as a support role, you will see all projects within your org. Support role will have certain permissions and ability to access and engage on project details. Managers will have a bit more access and permission. Owners will have free reign, if you will, to make sure that these projects are getting to the finish line. Pre-sale projects, an owner or a manager will have the ability to assign a lead once it's been qualified and added to the platform. They can assign it to an internal seller. They can assign it to an external seller outside of the org. Post-sale, you'll notice you can see the project status, the milestone, and you can jump in and take a look at the back office for each project. Enterprise dashboard. Today, all sellers on the platform have a dashboard. This would show you your metrics. Looks exactly like what you'd see here. You would see performance metrics, KPIs for leads, and team activity. Most importantly, I want to point out notifications. We have built a new enterprise dashboard. So on the sales side, you have your personal sales if you're an owner. On the enterprise dashboard, you're going to see all of your notifications for all org projects. And with that, you will notice that everything that a manager and a support role will see will be project specific. They will only see projects for the org. They will not see financial information in this dashboard. But the key here is that it breaks out individuals' projects for these support roles to see the projects that they're managing for the org. And earnings. Earnings is the ledger dashboard where an owner and a manager can go and take a look at the detailed breakdown for the org's incoming cash flow. This will also show you if there have been clawbacks or if there have been charges to your organization on certain projects. With that, you can filter this ledger. You can filter this view, and you can drill into things like M1 payments, finance rebates. You can take a look at a project, or take a look at a project milestone rather, and see where you're getting paid and why, or where you're getting charged and why. Coming soon. This is the most exciting piece in my opinion. We have staff roles within an organization. And I'm referring to team hierarchy here. The staff roles within an organization have the permissions that I mentioned earlier, the ability to support projects, but they are not currently getting paid on the platform. So what you'll notice here is team hierarchy is it's an org owner's way of creating an org structure within the platform that does not impede on the genealogy or the sponsors to the platform, but rather it gives your organization some structure and some permission assignments as well. And with that, you would also be able to assign payments to your staff roles. Powur Public API is another big one. We're going to give you the ability to push leads into the platform from an external CRM, and this will come with a lead offer. This will also come with the ability to assign it to specific users. And staff role permission settings. Today, an org manager and an org support role, they have the ability to see the entire org. With this new hierarchy view, we'd like to give you the ability to assign or decide what projects and what pieces of the platform your support staff and your staff roles can see. So they will have visibility into a team project, or they will have visibility into the entire org. The enhanced compensation plan, as mentioned, each user role will have the ability or the potential to earn on team projects within that team structure. So, as I mentioned, a lot of these products are live today and available and ready to use. We will be adding quite a bit of flexibility, again, with the goal being to really accommodate all possible org types moving forward. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here today, and we look forward to building this out a bit more for you.
Awesome, Sam. Painting the vision for the future, my man. Thank you.
Doing our best.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charles.